Yo, welcome back to Catch Up Online. Today we're gonna be talking about the youngest snackster of the century, Miss Lil Tay. Yes, the one and only, the one that rose from the dead, released a music video, and now she's flexing on all you broke ass bitches. First of all, Mango5912, let me tell you, I am going to get a mic. I told you I'm working on it, but it's probably not gonna come here in a long time. So we're gonna use this marshmallow as my mic. I know it's not going to do anything, but maybe if you're gonna get the visual of me having a mic, maybe it's gonna be easier for me to. There's subtitles. My new subscribers, hi, I'm the virus on your device that you just can't get rid of. You're stuck with me forever. So who is Miss Lil Tay? Why is she so famous? Why does everyone know her name? And how did she become this media sensation? Where has she been? And what is happening with her right now? We're gonna get into that. But first, she became famous in 2018. For about 3 months straight, she was the biggest media sensation that you could have seen. Her fame took off when RiceGum, the crypto scammer, created a video about her. This gave so much attention to Lil Tay. And then she responded to RiceGum, which he responded to that response. Non-stop all day.
Shut the fuck up. I'm 9 years old. You look like 21 or some shit. And I'ma smack your auntie.
And after this little interaction with RiceGum, her career just took off. She was hanging out with celebrities, news articles were being written about her, everyone wanted her on their news platform, people were just talking about her, everybody was just talking, Lil Tay, Lil Tay, Lil Tay. She became a sensation, a media sensation. And then, every star that rises up into the sky has to come down eventually. Videos of Lil Tay rehearsing this persona that she was supposed to put on for her next "I'm the youngest snackster of the century" video were released. Who released these videos? I have no idea. I was looking, but I just couldn't find the source. They just appeared onto the internet. People just seemed to have it. Anyone who was tagged in the video seemed to not have an account. It was just blocked or removed. It just didn't exist.
Mommy, stop! I was filming! Lil Tay be popping on YouTube right now.
More ignorant.
She was still irrelevant, like I said last time. What do I say? Cost me 2,000. This cost me 10,000, and this.
I said stop saying 10,000, 2,000, 3,000, 2,500.
But after these videos were released, people realized that her brother and her mother were just exploiting Lil Tay to gain fame and money from media, from people around her, and they got really upset. Lil Tay soon disappeared off the internet. Rumors had it that it was because of her mother, Angela. Apparently, Lil Tay's mom was using her clients' clothes, cars, and homes in Lil Tay's videos, where Lil Tay claimed that these things belonged to her, but in reality, it all belonged to Lil Tay's mom's clients. Her clients never even knew that she was using their property in this way. This angered the real estate agency that Lil Tay's mom was in, and rumor had it that she was fired, but later on we found out that apparently she resigned. Another rumor as to why Lil Tay disappeared off the internet was because she was fighting a custody battle with her father. After her father saw what Lil Tay was doing on the internet, he grew really annoyed at Lil Tay's mom and asked for custody of Lil Tay. And apparently this has been going on for the past 5 years. And Lil Tay released a live video discussing on what has happened and what is going on with her father and the custody battle that she is in. That's what we're going to be discussing and analyzing today. Before we get into that, let's establish a couple of things. In 2018, Lil Tay disappears. In 2019, Daily Beast released an interview that they had done with Lil Tay, where she said that she was relocating to Vancouver to live with her father and to be homeschooled. A couple years down the line, in 2021, a GoFundMe had been released for Lil Tay, where her brother was asking for money for them to win this custody battle, because apparently her mother had used up all her savings trying to fight this custody battle with the father, and they were needing extra cash for them to be helped. There's a whole bunch of information on what Lil Tay had experienced in her past life living with her father, which we're gonna get into later on. But then the most tragic thing happens. Lil Tay dies. And 24 hours later, she comes back to life. Just like Jesus Christ, she rises from the dead. She says that somebody hacked her Instagram account and announced to everybody that she had died with her brother, when in reality that was false. 20 days later, Lil Tay releases her new song and then goes live airing out all her dad's dirty laundry. So let's get into all the juicy shit that she's been saying.
Why I've been gone. So, where do I even start? 5 years ago, I became famous, and And my abusive absentee father, who had not been in my life for years up till that point, decided to come back into my life to take control over my career and my money. That's why I disappeared. He started a court case to silence me so I could not speak on what was happening and so he could take control over my money. His name is Chris Hope. This is him. This is Chris Hope. All right. Let's just get into it. Buckle up, because I cannot even tell you the full story. I have to give you a summary of it.
So what happened? How is she all of a sudden able to talk about it? Is the court case over? Did she get her money back? Is her father out of her life?
3, 2, 1.
This is very interesting because she said that she wasn't able to speak about it back then, which doesn't make any sense, because if she has credible information on how this man has been, and like she says, an absentee abusive father, then why would the court not let her speak on it? You know, it just seems a bit suspicious, if you ask me.
So let's just go. First of all, this man, he was bringing, when I was living with him, these are all events that happened before I became famous, because he had not been in my life for years before then. He was bringing random ass women around all the time and literally hooking up with them in front of me. I was a child. And one of those women was named Shima Ali, his assistant. This is her. These are not private this is her Facebook wallpaper. These are not private photos.
Okay, I could not find anything on Shima Ali, like at all. I could not find her page, her Facebook page, nothing about Shima Ali. Either she has taken it down after this live was released, or she didn't exist in the first place. And the way that Lil Tay is describing how these photos were not private, they were just out there for everyone to see, is very awful, because isn't Lil Tay dressing like this? This woman is an adult. In today's day and age, everyone posts photos like that. So the way that she's describing how this woman has had these photos on, not private but public, sounds like she's trying to shame her for having these photos up when she's doing the same thing as a minor. You know?
Oh my God. I remember one time, it was the middle of the night, and I was awakened by them next to me in the bed. And I could literally, she had her hand on my leg, and I was frozen in place. I was so young at that time. I had no idea what was going on, and I was just frozen in place. And then I moved, and then that's when she took her leg off my hand. They were literally...
I don't know if this was a mistake in how she was explaining the story, or if she doesn't know her story straight, but she said that this woman had her hand on her leg, and then when Lil Tay moved, she took her leg off her hand. So I don't know if that was just a little oopsie mistake while she was telling the story, or she doesn't know the story that she's telling. Because if this was as traumatizing as she is expressing, I feel like you would remember and you would be able to recall exactly what happened. I don't know, again, this might be just a little mistake that she made while she was talking.
In bed next to me. They did not care, and they were literally disregarding the fact that I wasn't even there. That's fucking insane.
That is awful. If that happened, that is absolutely awful, because no child should experience that. But then again, I don't see why anyone would deliberately hook up in front of your child. This man that is her father is a producer, a writer, a lawyer, so he has money. He comes from money, so he must definitely have a room. In the GoFundMe, right, there were articles that said that there were doors open whenever it was late at night, whenever Lil Tay was supposed to be sleeping, and she could hear Hani, a woman that's going to be discussed later on, and her father talking about how much they hate her and their mother. Okay, so there are other rooms. I don't know why they decided to sleep in her room. It just doesn't make any sense. No one would deliberately hook up in front of a child, especially in the same bed. So this either is a fabricated story, or her father is evil, which you decide.
Hooking up with random women all the time, and he found them off of Craigslist. This.
See, this is the first thing that I have an issue with. the text, the titles of what she's going to talk about are deliberately inverted. They're deliberately inverted for us to see what it says. But for example, this text right now, it is not inverted. They deliberately didn't invert the text, so it would be harder for us to read what is said on it. Even though the information that is said on it is all adds up, it doesn't matter. It's just a weird thing that they inverted every title, but they didn't invert the actual receipts, if you know what I mean. Also, no, let's get into it.
This is his Craigslist email to a random woman who had an ad. Okay, this is the email trying to hook up with people. This is my mom talking to somebody about it.
The way she's talking about her father being on Craigslist looking for dates is absolutely awful. If you read the top of that text, says that he's been looking for women while he was with Lil Tay's mom in 2008. In 2008, there was no such thing as Tinder, Grindr, or any dating app that we have currently. That's because they didn't exist back then. There was Match.com that I think you would go on your computer and look up. But people mostly use Craigslist for dating, for selling, for renting. They use Craigslist for everything. It was a multifunctional app, and back then people used it for dating. So the way that she's expressing that her father was using Craigslist to look for women, it just sounds like she's trying to make it seem like it was a very bad thing. But back then everyone was doing it, so I don't think it was a bad thing, if you know what I mean. Also, if you read the text, it says that he was looking for women in 2008 whenever they were together, Lil Tay's mom and Chris. But they had been divorced since 2006. Lil Tay was born in 2007, and in the GoFundMe ad, it said that Lil Tay's father was absentee from her life since she was born for the first 5 years. So that doesn't add up. He wasn't in her life for the first 5 years of her life. But then in this text, it says that in 2008, apparently he was still with his mom. It also says that he is going to leave in 3 days. Her mom is going to ask him to leave in 3 days. It also says she doesn't want Chris to be using Lil Tay's photos in the Craigslist ad. But if this was a normal dating app, right, and you were a 40-year-old man looking for another partner, if you had kids, I think your partner would appreciate if you told them that you had kids, you know? So I don't think there's anything wrong with Chris using his child in the photos. He has children. He's telling people that he has children that he's trying to date. He's also got married to another person, a Chinese woman, in 2006, but their marriage number is SH06052, but there's not much information about that. I don't know why this was relevant, but he did marry someone in 2006. There's no divorce papers, but they just, you know, have this information out there.
It's crazy, but out of all of the random ass women that came and went, mostly Asian women, because he has an Asian fetish.
Again, I'm not trying to say that this dad is amazing. It's just that we're not hearing his side of the story. We're only hearing Lil Tay's. And the way Lil Tay is portraying her dad is she's doing everything, every single thing in her power to paint him as a bad guy. She's saying Asian fetish instead of Asian preference. And I know some people do not believe in racial preference, but I don't think her dad has an Asian fetish. I think if women were lined up and he had to choose one and there was no Asian woman, he would choose a woman, okay? If there was an Asian woman, he would probably choose the Asian woman, okay? Because that's his preference. He is more attracted to women of that ethnicity, okay? My mom is white and she has only dated in her ethnicity, right? In Lithuanian. She has not dated outside of it. I think she wouldn't mind dating other people, but her preference is Lithuanian white men. You wouldn't call my mom a white Lithuanian fetishizer, would you? No. And same with your mom. Would she would probably date outside of her ethnicity, but her preference would be somewhere closer. Okay? So I don't think he has an Asian fetish. I just think he has an Asian preference.
If you didn't know, only one of them is prominent, and this is where Honey Hope comes in the story.
See, again, this text is deliberately inverted, but then the messages that she had showed us were not. Like, they deliberately inverted this second text.
So, Honey Hope, she is Christopher John Hope's wife, currently. And he met her online when she was living in the Philippines. And she is a career scammer. When she was living in the Philippines, she was scamming as a career, which I will get into later. Oh, this is her. That's her right there. That's her and Chris. These are the receipts. This is just one of her victims. This is online.
They're not online. I couldn't find them anywhere. I looked for them so hard. I was really trying to figure out who this woman is and find out who she scammed, because the messages that she shows, it shows that people were talking about her. Her name is in there and they were talking about her specifically, about how she was scamming them. It doesn't make any sense. When you read it, it makes no sense. But I couldn't find anywhere, no Facebook page that has the name that is written here, no Facebook page that has the comments name that is written here. There was no evidence of this online. I couldn't find her anywhere. And if this person was a scammer and scamming people, people would want to warn you, okay? They would want to warn you that this person is out there trying to scam you. So they would put some kind of evidence to like watch out for this person. But there was nothing. I couldn't find anything. So I don't know if this is again just false accusations or false information, or if this was all taken down. But I don't think if you had information on a scammer, I don't think you would take that information down. You would keep it up so you would warn others, right? I don't know, this is kind of suspicious.
She was a career scammer. So she met Chris Hope online, like usual, because all he wants to do is hook up with women online. But they started having a bond. And he wanted to fly her to Canada, which is exactly what happened. And she left the father of her son to be with Chris because she thought that he would provide her with a luxurious good life and bring her to Canada and all that.
Okay, two things. First thing, if she met him online, then she was actively looking for somebody, okay? He was actively looking for somebody as well. You wouldn't expect her to stay in the Philippines and him to stay in Canada, right? If they, like, have a bond. They would eventually move in, so I don't see, there's no problem with that. If she left her father of her son, there was probably some kind of issue there that she wasn't staying with him, okay? I'm not saying that there was an issue, there might have not been an issue, but I'm just saying that if she was actively looking for someone online, then she was going to move. It was already pre-planned, you know? You wouldn't expect her to just talk with them over the phone and then just like have an online relationship and that's it. Eventually they were going to move in, like especially since they had a bond. Now the second thing, we're gonna replay that.
Good life and bring her to Canada and all that.
That sound in the background,
All that
was her music video playing. Somebody was deliberately checking to see how her music video was doing because they posted it before they went live, instead of listening to the story and being with Lil Tay as she tells us this traumatizing story. If I was in this position, and I'm sure if you were in this position, this would be a very hard thing to talk about and you would need your family's support. Instead, what is happening is her family is trying to see how her video is doing because that is way more important than this story. It just, again, is very suspicious. Like, I feel like they should be there looking at her, making sure everything is okay, she won't break down, while telling this traumatizing story of this man who has put her through so much, you know?
And then things just went downhill from there after she entered my life. When I was living with them, like I said, they were still doing the most out-of-pocket stuff in front of me. She would get out of the shower and she wouldn't even put clothes on. And they were always playing these inappropriate movies in front of me, openly in front of me. So that was the norms. Those were the norms in this household.
That is absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. If they did this to her, that they should be jailed. But this is where her story starts to change. In the GoFundMe, it said that both Hani And Chris would walk around the house naked. And the reason why her family found out about this is because Miss Lil Tay would describe how hairy their bodies were. I'm sorry to be so graphic, but this is where it changes, because now she's talking about how Hani would get out of the shower naked and they would play these sexually inappropriate movies around her. So her story changes a tiny bit.
It's fucking sick. And she would always take out her anger onto me. If her son did anything wrong, it would become my fault. And she punched me, she pinched me. Pinching me was a really big thing. Chris mainly shoved me. And this is one of the worst incidents that happened. This is a police report. They were physically abusing me constantly. And like I said, if her son acted out of line, she would use me as a scapegoat and take it out on me. And in fact, physical abuse of me was so common in this household that her son caught onto it, and he was doing it to me too, and they would just egg him on.
Okay, so her story changes again in here. Now stick with me, okay? Because she says that Hani would take her anger out on her, so whenever she would get frustrated, she would abuse Lil Tay. In the GoFundMe, it said that Hani was just jealous and wanted all of Chris's attention and money, meaning that he would probably give some attention to Tay and some money to Tay, and that's the reason why Hani would abuse her. Which is so obvious. Like, to me, that sounds like the perfect stepmother plot. She was abusing me, she was hitting me, like, it fits too perfectly. Now, about the report card, okay? If you go to the back of it, because it is posted, the back of it was posted on the GoFundMe. It says, Constable JP Timofeychuk. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but it doesn't matter, because this person doesn't exist. This person does not exist. There is no record of this person online. I have found other cards from RCMPGRC with people's names on the back of it that exist. John Robbins, he has over 30 years of policing experience. Donna McKenna, another person, 30 years of policing experience. And then when it comes to Lil Tay's Constable JP, this person cannot be found on the internet. No searches come up. It's like I put in some random ass name and Google doesn't even know what to do with it. This person doesn't exist, so we just keep hitting these walls of people not existing, of information, of receipts that she says are online that do not exist. It's just her story doesn't seem to be adding up. She's also changing it slightly, and we've all seen crime documentaries. If the story changes of the criminal, that means he is lying. The reason why she had marks on her face was said that Chris and Hani went to the playground and she had fallen. Have you ever went to the playground and your kid had fallen and had bruises? Of course, my brother fell on stairs and had a cracked forehead. That wasn't a sign of my mom or my father abusing him. That was just a clumsy child. Because kids are clumsy. They fall, they hurt themselves, they have bruises all over their bodies because they're still not aware of how to walk, how to properly conduct themselves outside. So that is possible. I'm not saying that is the way that it went down. I'm just saying that this report card with the person that is written on it does not exist. So who took this report?
They forced me to watch many horror movies when I was in their house. One of them was Bride of Chucky, and when they put it on, I couldn't get out of the room, and I was literally sobbing. And I tried to put my face into a pillow when they were playing the horror movie in front of me. And Honey Hope, she had me in a chokehold so I couldn't escape. And I had to sit through the entire Bride of Chucky movie when I was young as fuck. And then afterwards, there's a closet in the room. So while I was still in the chokehold, she shoved me into the closet and locked me in there. And she said, "Go play with Chucky." I thought I was going to die. I was scared as fuck. This traumatized me. They are sick ass people. This is not the only horror movie that I watched, but this is one of the most traumatizing memories that I have, is Bride of Chucky.
Her storyline changes again. In the original storyline, she had watched the Chucky movie and that was very traumatizing to her. And then, it wasn't specifically the Chucky movie that was traumatizing, it was the fact that the stepmom would throw her into the closet. That was a sort of punishment that she got, Lil Tay, and that traumatized her. In here, she expresses how during the movie, she had her in a chokehold, which was never mentioned in the story on the GoFundMe, and that she forced her, well, it was said that she was forced to watch the movie back then as well, but in a chokehold, she is making the story even worse, and then adding the fact that she was thrown into the closet and then told that there was Chucky was in there, making us feel really bad. She's trying to get, it seems like she's trying to get sympathy points, because the original story wasn't bad enough, she made it even worse. You know what I mean?
They were feeding me the most disgusting ass food. Look at this. What is this shit? This is what they were packing me for lunch. My mom had discovered that they were packing me this for lunch. Rotten, frozen, parasitic.
Did you see that little pause there when she said frozen? She said rotten, frozen, and she was like,
rotten, frozen, parasitic.
because frozen isn't a, like, it's not as strong as of a word as a parasitic and moldy, you know? I feel like she thought she made a mistake there, but...
Moldy? Look at this. That's candy. That's expired candy. These are my mom's text messages to him, sending him these photos and like, why are you sending this to your child for school? These are the text messages. This is him saying he discovered that my mom was sending me lunches after she found out that I was being given rotten food at his place. So she started dropping me off fresh lunches at school. And then what does he say? He says, if she continues doing that, he will continue to deduct child support. And my mom was like, what are you talking about? Because how am I supposed to eat what he's giving me? Look at that. What is that? She was giving me fresh homemade food and he was getting angry at her for doing that because I wasn't eating it. But I wasn't eating it anyways because that's disgusting.
Okay, first of all, that looks like leftover takeaway. I know most of us are not Kim Kardashian, so most of us had takeaway brought to school. And that looks like if I had a burger or a pizza from the night before that was in my bag and got smushed by bugs. That literally looks like that. It doesn't look rotten, it doesn't look moldy, it doesn't look parasitic. The way it was described in the GoFundMe was that there were maggots there, worms, like it was described really horribly. But that just looks like leftover pizza that's been mushing around in your bag, you know? And also, what's very weird is in the first text, the text is green. And in the second text, it's blue, which means the first one was sent to an Android and the second one was sent to an iPhone. So either her dad has two phones, one for business, one for work, or I cannot explain that, because why would you send to two different phones? And especially if you have two different phones, why wouldn't you have the same phone? Why would you have switch through Android and iPhone? The first text with the green, those photos are inserted. So the text is cut and then those photos are inserted. You know, it's weird. I don't know. That doesn't seem to be adding up. It's not a text that was sent. Those photos were just inserted. And in the second one, we find out that it says that he will start deducting, not that he will continue deducting, but he will start deducting child pay if she continues to bring food. Because from what it sounds like on the text is that he buys food with his own money, gives it to her, she doesn't eat it because she eats her mom's food, so his food that he bought goes to waste, so his money goes to waste. So he's telling her, if you are going to waste my money, I am going to waste your money, so stop bringing her food, I'm bringing her food. Also, this kind of establishes a timeline for us of when this whole thing happened, because in the text message you can see that the iOS of the message was 7 or 8, and we know it was 7 or 8 because he stopped being in her life after 2014, so it must have been before 2014, and iOS 7 and iOS 8 was released in 2012 and 2013. So that establishes a 2-year period when she was experiencing this abuse. A 2-year period, because she was born in 2007. She hadn't been in her life for 5 years. That brings us to 2012. iOS 7 was released in 2012. iOS 8 was released in 2013, and then he stopped being in her life in 2014. 2-year period where he had been in her life and caused this abuse, apparently.
They did not dress me properly. These are shoes that I was wearing. The soles are broken. This is another. These aren't even the same pair of shoes. Look. Both of these soles are broken. These are the clothing they were providing for me. Meanwhile.
Okay. So we get additional text in here saying that, which is really, really weird, because it says that he will not get any of Claire's money. Okay. But this was before she was famous. This was before she had any money. So I don't know what money she's talking about. Claire doesn't have any money. Or not Claire. Lil Tay. It is said that her name was not Claire Hope. It was Tay Tan. But her mother and her father both call her Claire in these messages. So I don't know who we should believe. The text messages that supposedly say her name as Claire, or Lil Tay who says her name is not Claire. But anyways, in these texts it reads that he will not get any of Claire's money. Claire doesn't have any money. She's not famous yet, so I don't know what money they're talking about. Okay? Also, the first shoes, yes, we can see that their soles are ripped. The second shoes, we cannot see that the soles are ripped, or at least I can't see that the soles are ripped. But I do see 2 more pairs, right? So that means she has 4 pairs of shoes altogether that she goes to school with. I only have 1. I'm pretty sure people have like 2, maybe 3 pairs of shoes. I'm being generous. 2 pairs of shoes that they go outside with. Okay, she had 4, and she's purposely focusing on the broken ones and not the ones that are completely looking like they're brand new, right? She's not focusing on them. She has more shoes that she could have worn. She's just focusing on the broken sole ones, and the other ones that she supposedly says have a broken sole. But I don't know. It's up to you to decide.
He was so preoccupied while I was wearing broken ass shoes. He was so preoccupied with providing Honey Hope, his wife, with these designer bags. This is not even everything. This is not accounting for shoes, clothing, makeup, luxury vacations. He was literally fulfilling all of her fantasies while I was wearing those broken ass shoes. This is her collection of bags. Look, this is not even all of it. I've seen more. This is her TikTok. She's openly bragging about her designer collection of bags. Meanwhile, what the is I wearing at their house? This shows you what type of person Chris Hope is. You will provide this immoral, horrifying, gold-digging with all of her fantasies, everything, and you can't even put proper shoes onto your own child.
Okay, this woman has a job, okay? She graduated in 2006 and she's a nurse. Okay, if you look at her TikTok, 10% of her TikTok is just her, okay? Like, I'm getting a little pedicure, these are my bags. 20% of it is her work, like, I'm a nurse, like, look at me, like, this is what I do. And 70% of this is her kids. She does not look like a gold digger. She looks like a basic mom. You can see the house that they live in. It looks like a basic ass house that's cluttered, okay? So what kind of fantasies did this man fulfill? He gave her a home, a second child, stable relationship? Because yes, she has those bags, but this was posted 6 years after he left Lil Tay's life. 6 years after. He could have gathered those bags in those 6 years, or she could have gathered those bags in those 6 years. She's very proud of them, yes, but she says that she has seen more. Their house looks like a council house. okay? With one glass little container which she has shown that has her bags, and in the TikTok, she says how proud she's of them. I don't think she has anymore. That could just be that's just my opinion. But Lil Tay shows us a little photo of how Miss Hani was getting a gift from Chris. To me, that just shows that her boyfriend gave her gifts. I give my boyfriend gifts every time I see him. It's not something that is crazy. My boyfriend is not a gold digger. It's just that when your partner is a material person, you know that a gift will make them happy. That literally looks like his partner likes to be gifted things, and he's showing his appreciation to his partner by giving her gifts. Again, this girl, Lil Tay, had shoes that she could have worn, but she deliberately worn the ones that have broken soles. She had other pairs that looked like they were brand new. So I don't know. Also, that was posted 6 years ago. In those videos, you can see Hani Hope's first child, and he looks like he's about 10 years old. So whenever Lil Tay was in their life, that was 8 years ago, okay? 8 years ago. So that kid was 2 years old. Let's say, for argument's sake, he was 3, even 4 years old, right? This kid is just learning how to properly put sentences together, and he has the capability of abusing Lil Tay. It's just that this story has so many holes and so many walls that we hit that we can't get past, because if I found the evidence that she is providing us online, that would show at least some sort of like stability, some sort of backbone to her story. But everything that she's saying, she just is seeming to make the story seem so horrible and this man so bad that you can't question her because it's so bad, okay? But when you look into things are not adding up, you know?
And that brings me to my next point. How much money does he owe me? Good ass question. He owes me $250,000 in child support. He still owes it, by the way. He still hasn't paid it. He's legally obligated to pay it. He hasn't paid it. What is that?
This story changes again because back in 2021, the amount was $400,000, right? So from 2014 to 2021, it had raised to $400,000, okay? And now it has dropped to $250,000. Again, the story doesn't match. There's a loophole. It just doesn't be making sense.
That tell you about him? That tells you everything. Who the f owes $250,000 in child support? That's insane. And meanwhile, look at what the fuck they're doing. They're going on vacation, they're going on shopping sprees, and they're neglecting all of my needs. And worse, they're not just neglecting me, they were abusing the fuck out of me every single day that I was in their home.
There is no proof that they were going on vacations or that they were going on shopping sprees. Okay? There is literally no proof. It is her word that we must believe because of how horrible the story is.
Obviously, things didn't just happen suddenly. Chris Hope has a history. Before I was even born, before I was at his residence with his wife and they were abusing me, he was abusing my mom. He was a domestic abuser. I witnessed him shoving my mom into walls and punching her. And my brother, he was a kid at that time too. And when he tried to go help my mom, he screamed for help. He shoved into the floor, kneeled on his back. And he's like, get the fuck off of me. And my mom was screaming and crying. And I cannot forget those memories. And remember that I am giving you a summary.
This is horrible. No child should go through this. Like, nobody needs to go through this. Okay? But what she's claiming is outrageous. Because she keeps mentioning throughout this whole live and throughout the GoFundMe how absentee he was. In the GoFundMe, it says he wasn't in her life for the first 5 years of her life. Okay? and then he reappeared for a 2-year period. Okay? And even though he reappeared for that 2-year period, he had his own place. He was staying in his own place, bringing women to his own place. Okay? So, why was he at their place? Why was he there abusing the mother when he had other women? I understand that this could be a possibility, but with everything not adding up till now to this story, why would this be something that was true? She says that before he was born, yes, that could be possible, but then after she was born, she would see him abuse her when he wasn't even in her life. It just doesn't make any sense. They had 50-50 parenting. 1 week, Lil Tay would be with her mother, and the next week she would be with her father. The only reason why it was like that is so that he would supposedly have to pay less child support, but he wouldn't. If he wanted less child support and he didn't want her in her life, why would he deliberately go out of his way to visit them at their place if he didn't want them in their life in the first place? You know, he's only doing this to get less child support. It just doesn't make sense. He was an absentee father. How was she experiencing all this when he never wanted to be in their life?
Of what my life was like. I cannot possibly tell you every single incident that happened. I am summarizing what my childhood was like. That's what I just went over. But it doesn't end there, because he's racist as f. Do you know one of the reasons that he said to the court that he should have custody of me after I became famous? He said it was because my mom was letting me associate with Black and Hispanic people in the entertainment industry. And he said that they were going to get me into drugs, or they were going to steal my money, or they're going to exploit me. He hates Black and Hispanic people. That was one of his arguments of why I shouldn't be in the entertainment industry. But in reality, we all know that was a lie anyway, because he wanted me to be there so he could take my money. He just wanted control over my career. That's why he started this court case after years of not seeing me, and prior to not seeing me, after years of abusing me.
That is crazy. She's just adding fuel to the fire. If you notice, any victim who is telling their story will always bring race into them because they want sympathy points from the people who she's talking about. She's saying that the Black and the Hispanic people were being stereotyped by her father and that he didn't want her to hang out with them. She is making the Black people and the Hispanic people have sympathy for her so that they would be on her side. Every victim always plays the race card because they need more people on their side so their story would sound believable and strong. This is just her adding fuel to the fire. We've heard how awful he is, and on top of that she drops in this race bomb. Again, she's just doing this. Just sounds too perfect. Like, it's just too perfect.
As you know, there was a lot of shit that happened when I was famous. And a lot of that involved media and the press slandering the out of my family, me and my mom. Number one, my mom was not fired. It's actually insane how fast that spread. No one did any fact checking. My mom was not fired, she resigned. And afterwards, the realty company that she was with, after they lied about it, they were still charging her desk fees after she resigned, thousands of dollars, and she sued them. My mom sued the realty company and she won. She resigned. Oh my God, I've waited so long to clear that up. My mom did not get fired, she resigned.
Okay, but we knew that. I'm pretty sure everybody knew that her mom resigned. Like, it was published in the media. Her realtor agency said it. Like, they literally said that she resigned. It's been said.
The one that she did was in the bathroom. That is one of our colleagues' home on the market for sale, and she was apparently doing an open house.
David Yang was Angela Tian's boss. His red Mercedes SL 500, also used as a prop in one of the profanity-laced posts.
But I didn't realize she was filming for Instagram. If I had known, this would have been happened.
That view? Y'all don't have that view, and I be holding your mama's rank.
The consequences for Lil Tay's mom a lot more immediate. With the writing on the wall, she resigned from her job.
She called and she said, I'm quitting from real estate.
Like, I don't know what she was been waiting for to tell us to clear up, because it was already cleared up. Yes, at the start people thought that she got fired, but then it was all cleared up. She resigned. So again, lacks backbone.
Number 2. There have been a ton of random ass people, frauds, who have claimed to be my manager.
1 to be exact. 1.
I have never had a manager. All those people are con artists. They're exploiting my name for clout and for industry credit. And okay, this is where it gets into the death hoax. So, as you all know, Chris Hope was the one that did the death hoax. He was trying to sabotage me. Meanwhile, he was working with this other con artist that was claiming to be my manager, and they had a crypto coin together. Their plan was to fake my death and then promote the crypto coin, which, by the way, the manager admitted to. He said he'd been working on the crypto coin for months. These people are frauds. This proves how much the
Oh my god, this manager that she's talking about is her friend. Okay? This manager that is a fraud that was trying to exploit her name is her friend. She has done videos with him in the past.
Lil Tay just got verified. Y'all hoes said I wouldn't make it, but look, I'm verified now. Lil Tay, the youngest fucks of the century. Just got verified.
God damn it, what the hell? Ouch! Dang it! Ow! I'm gonna call the police! You're crazy!
Shut your ass up, ugly ass boy.
Ow!
Call the police. I don't care. Shut your ugly ass up.
So, to me, it sounds like this whole story, to make it sound even more outrageous and crazy and like I've been suffering, my father told everyone that I was dead. He, with this manager that I don't know, this random ass person that is claiming to be my manager, that she does know actually, made a crypto coin to exploit my name, to profit off of. She is saying how the media is exploiting her name, how they are putting her name through trash, when in reality the only reason why the media was reporting this person was her manager was because she didn't say anything. Okay? For 20 days, okay? She said nothing. She let that cauldron boil and bubble. She let it become something, because if somebody is saying that they are your manager and they're claiming these outrageous things about you, you would step in and say, I don't know who the hell that is. Okay? You wouldn't wait almost a month to answer. Would you? Yeah, I don't think anyone would do that. You would clear up the rumor straight away, but she purposely was waiting for this to become even bigger so she could then tell that the media is trying to destroy her name. But they're not. Because you didn't say anything, the media thought, oh, he must be your manager because you're not saying anything. What he is saying must be true. He's claiming to be your manager and you're not stepping up and saying that he's not. So.
Did not give a about facts. They cared about slandering my name. They did not do any fact checking. As long as you claim to be my manager, they would just take your word for it. As long as anyone claimed that my mom got fired from her job just for controversy purposes, they would just report on it, even though it's not true. I hope you realize how much has been surrounding my name from the moment I became famous till now. And I hope this clears.
What? That she was using racial profanity? That has been proven. That she was using other people's property? That has been proven. That she had lied about her age? Proven. That she was a Harvard dropout? Everything has been proven. All the that she's talking about that's been associated with her name have been proven. Like, she's done all those things. She has not been a Harvard dropout. She was lying about that. She was not 9. She was lying about that. She did not own any property. She was lying about that. She has been lying and lying and lying and lying and lying, and that's how she became famous. She's built her career on lies.
Up for you. Biggest takeaway, my mom has always been supportive of me. She's been there for me my entire life, and we had both been abused by Christopher John Hope, my abusive absentee father.
Don't forget her brother was abused as well.
Is not the good guy here. He wanted control over my career and my money, and I had to go.
She had no money. She literally had no money. All of the money that she was flaunting in people's face was fake. It wasn't hers. She had no property. She had no cars. All of it was fake. So what money did he want?
Me and my family had to go through even more years of abuse through the court system because of him. But in the end, we won. I am free now, and I thank God every day for it. I thank my mom for it. She spent all of her life savings in court. She spent all of her life savings.
She kind of froze there. Did you see that? She didn't. She was like.
She spent all of her life savings in court. She spent all of her life savings.
What's my story again?
To support me, and we won.
She spent all her life savings back in 2021, and then the GoFundMe happened, and they were raising money because she had spent all her life savings. 750,000, to be honest. I have not heard of a case that big for a child. Family court. That big? I mean, I could be wrong. But she had spent all of her life savings in 2021, and she had nothing left, so that's why the GoFundMe was established. So, with the $17,000 that they had raised, was that enough to then continue a 2-year case? Or how does that work?
Last thing is I want to really, to all the people that have supported me and have checked up on me, it means so much to me, and I am forever grateful. And I love you guys. Like, I'm so grateful for all the support that I've gotten, because it's been a tough 5 years. But I'm free now, and I just dropped my music video. I'm ready to move on. We are done with this. I'm back. I dropped my music video. Sucker for Green, link in bio, posted on my page. Thank you for supporting me. Go watch the video.
I've told you my story, now you feel bad for me, so please listen to my music. That was just a huge promo for her music. And plus, all this money, all the life savings that she had to spend on Lil Tay's custody battle, right? How did she have enough money to produce a whole video, pay for cars, backup dancers, filming equipment, clothes, properties? Like, a lot of things are not adding up, a lot of knots were not tied. She has a lot of things to answer to. Don't forget the merch that she was selling on her YouTube video as well. There's merch there as well. She's got merch. She has come with a bang. Like, she's like, buy all this, watch all this. I don't know, when did she have time to create all this? This was all pre-planned, you know? This seems very suspicious. So is Lil Tay a victim or just a con artist? And is she just trying to take all your... I don't know, but that's the pile of information that I have for you today. I would love to hear what you think about this in the comment section down below. And I'll talk to you next week. Bye.